Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome to week 4 of season 3 of the SBL. This week we will be taking on our boy Angel and his new team named the Radical Raichus. Now, this season, he's gotten off to kind of a roller coaster of a start. He's 1-2 right now. I don't remember his differential off the top of my head, but that doesn't matter. We did battle last season, and our team was able to come up with a 5-0 win off of what was a pretty stolid game, not gonna lie. And that was mostly my fault. But at the same time, this battle was actually a lot quicker because, well, you could just look at my team and see that I have mostly offense here. But before we get into my team, let's go ahead and get over what he brought over here. He's got his mascot Raichu over there. It's a really fast electric type. And doesn't do much else except Volt Switch and maybe set up a nasty plot and try to end your life. He's got a Tapu Bulu there, which... Ooh, Tapu Wars, Terrain Wars, which, spoilers, that's going to be the only time this season we're going to be dealing with a Terrain War, because the team that had Tapu Fini dropped it. But, yeah, it's okay. But what Tapu Bulu does, it's a pretty good physical attacker, gets some interesting coverage moves, it could prove to be a problem depending on what set he runs. He's got one of the newest Pokemon out there, Blacephalon, or Clown Man as my boy Shadowed Cities here calls it, shout out to him. This thing is a really fast special attacker. It's got monstrous special attack, and of course since it's an Ultra Beast it gets that lovely ability of Whoosh, Whoosh. So this thing could end up being a problem. You see the Pidgeot there, that is his Mega. As was the case last season as well, he really likes his Mega Pidgeot, and for good reason too. It's pretty fast, it's a good special attacker, it also has that no guard, so it's not going to miss that Hurricane. But that could also prove to be a double-edged sword for his opponent, because that means they're not going to miss any moves either. Like, with my Moltres there, I could easily have packed Hurricane, Fire Blast, and they wouldn't have missed. But at the same time, he likes his Mega Pidgeot, so I don't see why he wouldn't have brought it. He's got a Bruxish there, which that is a threat I should not sleep on. Yes, it might be one of the weirdest new Pokemon out there, but it hits pretty hard. I mean, it's got 92 base speed, which is something that I shouldn't sleep on. It outspeeds... let's see. It outspeeds about half the team I brought, to be honest. Even Moltres, it outspeeds by 2 naturally. And with the Strong Jaw ability and moves like Psychic Fangs and Crunch, it can hit pretty hard. Even Liquidation hits pretty hard. And then the last thing he's got is a Scizor. Regular little Scizor. And this thing's actually pretty good. I mean, it's not Mega Scizor by any stretch, spoilers we face that next week, but I can still see Scizor putting in some work. It gets Technician Bullet Punch and all those shenanigans. It could be banded, bulky, whatever you want it to be. Yeah. And much like last season to this point, these are the 6 Pokemon that Angel has brought to every battle thus far. But after our battle last season, he ended up bringing some other stuff, which, could we see that again? Well, you guys will probably never know unless you're in the SBL, but whatever. Now let's get into what he didn't bring. The first thing he didn't bring that I was kind of afraid of was the Florges, which, looking at my team, I only had a couple things I could have potentially broken it down. So that thing could have been a problem if he brought it. He also didn't bring the Chandelure. Yes, he has both Chandelure and Blacephalon on the same team, which, at first I kind of questioned that, but after thinking about it a little bit more, I kind of figured, oh hey, what if your opponent has trouble with one Pokemon? You just double that up on him and then it becomes a super threat. He has the double ground combo that I was a little bit worried about in Gastrodon and Rhyperior, and I prepped for both of them, and I was a little bit disappointed not to see them because I had some fun tech ready for those two. And the last thing he didn't bring was the Hitmonchan, which all that thing does is spin and punch things, so... But looking at the team I brought, it could have done some work, maybe, maybe not. Oh well. I'm gonna take a drink real quick of water. Alright, now let's get into what we decided to bring. Let's start off with a little P2 here. This P2 is the Yo Fizz special because, what's his face? The YouTuber Yo Fizz and his team, the Atlanta Hawluchas, brought a P2 set very, very similar to this back in GBA Season 6. I mean, I'm running a slightly different EV spread and like one different move actually. But we'll see what P2 can do. Alright, we got Hydreigon here back on the team this week. And he's going to be running on a Solve Vest this time because I figured this would be my best switch into the combo of Blacephalon and Chandelure, as it just completely shuts down even the Specs variants. And yeah, Specs, Blacephalon, and Chandler otherwise could have done a lot to my team. I mean, Nihilego probably could have done some stuff against it too, but I figure AV Hydreigon, I figured it was a good drink for this week. We have our Moltres here, and I ran a Power Herb Solar Beam set because I wanted him to bring Gastrodon and or Raichus because that would have one-shot either of them, but of course he didn't bring either, so that set's kind of a waste. Oh well. Alright, Nihilego's choice, Scarf with Stealth Rocks. Wait, Scarf with Stealth Rocks, what? Yeah, so I figured I could run Stealth Rock on a Scarf Nihilego because I could just set that up and then switch into an appropriate, I almost said accordion, that's a musical instrument. An appropriate response to whatever he has out, like, let's say he would have swapped in Bruxish, I could swap in, like, Hydreigon, if he would have swapped in, Scizor, Moltres, you know, that kind of deal. Alright, we have Golisopod on the team for the first time this season, making his Diancie United debut, and this is also an Assault Vest. What? Double Assault Vest? Yes, I ran dual Assault Vests this week because I didn't really know what else to put on Golisopod. I could have run Life Orb potentially, but like, if I'd have run Life Orb, that would have just gotten him into Emergency Exit faster, and that is not what I wanted at all. So I just figured, Assault Vest is okay. I mean, Lumberry would have been my other option, I guess. And then lastly, Tapu Koko is just 4 attacks Expert Belt, outspeeds his entire team bar Scarfers. Nothing really to see here. Alright, and Tapu Koko I decided was going to be my lead going into this battle because, especially looking at the team he brought, I figured I could match up well against pretty much anything and adjust accordingly. Like, if he would have led Raichu, I could just Nature's Madness, Bulu, Volt Switch, or Hidden Power Fire. Blacephalon, I could switch out directly to see if he was Scarf or not. Pidgeot, Volt Switch, Bruxis, Volt Switch, Scizor, Hidden Power Fire. And yeah, let's go ahead and get right on into it, as I do indeed lead with my Tapu Koko, as he leads off with the Raichu. Alright, so right here, I decided to just go ahead and get off of Nature's Madness, as he shows he's not Scarf. And he abuses my turn and goes for the Volt Switch, and showing a Life Orb, which is good information for me to know. As he goes right into the Scizor. And now, and since I mentioned I had Hidden Power Fire, I went for it, and the fact that that Scizor just got clean knocked out, that told me he had pretty much zero bulk investment at all, or maybe very little. Or maybe he had some, and it was just a roll in my favor, but it's really hard to tell what kind of Scizor set this was, because I just clean one-shotted it, and I don't know anything else about it, but I take an early 6-5 advantage, turn 2, as he goes in Blacephalon, and now here's my test here. I wanted to see if this thing was Choice Scarf or not, so I went into my Hydreigon, which could take pretty much any hit this thing wanted to deal out, but he shows the Toxic. And that immediately told me that either he was a really weird set, or that he wasn't Scarfed at all. So that was pretty good intel for my Hydreigon here. And seeing that as he might switch, thinking that I'm Choice Scarfed on my Hydreigon, I went for a safe U-turn here as he gets into his Bulu, which cancels out my, the Electric Terrain, as he shows the Grassy Seed too. Which that is also useful information to find out that he's Grassy Seed, because that means that he's not the Poison Resist Berry, which is the Kebia Berry, or the Kebia Berry, I'm not really sure how it's pronounced, but I figure right here I'll get off a very minimal damage U-turn and get off into my Nihilego, and right here, as he gets some Grassy Terrain recovery, I figure, okay, I have in my Poison type here. There's absolutely no way he's going to stay in, and I can just get up my Stealth Rocks for free and then switch accordingly. But then, he has Balls of Steel here, and he stays in with his Tapu Bulu, his thing 4 times weak to Poison, on my Poison type. And I'm just sitting here like, Angel, I could have just destroyed this thing. Why would you stay in? Well, I guess looking back on it, he stayed in because he didn't want to lose his defense boost, which, I guess that's okay reason, but my only physical attacker this week was Golisopod, and I think Bulu could pretty easily deal with it regardless. But and I'm super glad the Horn Leech didn't kill me here, because Nihilego has piss poor physical defense, so obviously I had to switch out here, and seeing as he was going for a grass move, I went into my Moltres, as he goes for another Horn Leech. And he's gonna stick to not switching out his Bulu, and I just straight up kill it with Fire Blast. Now, he could have had Stone Edge, which would have ruined my Moltres' life, but oh well. And now he goes into his Pidgeot. And I don't feel like staying in, and I feel like Tapu Koko is a pretty easy switch into this monster, as he just goes for the defog, which, yeah, that's pretty useful. I mean, one of his things weak to Soft Rock is out right now and using defog, but then he had the Blacephalon also weak to it, and Raichu would have gotten whittled down pretty quickly. So that was a good play on his part. And on the next turn I went for Nature's Madness expecting him to switch, because why would you keep the Pidgeot in on a Tapu Koko, and he brings the Raichu back in. And after seeing I was faster earlier, I could have killed him with any move. I just decided to show off Grass Knot, just to show it off, and then Blacephalon comes back in, and now that I'm pretty sure it's not Choice Scarf, I just Volt Switch at, deal about half to it. And I'm just ready to go in with my Hydreigon and potentially kill it, but then he kills himself. Like, aw man, that totally took away my kill. But, oh well. Alright, now's the fun part. He gets into his Pidgeot as I take the Hurricane pretty well because it's Assault Vest, and I U-turn out into my P2, and now here's what I wanted to do from the start. I trace his No Guard. Now here's where the fun starts to come into play. Unfortunately, I did not have Zap Cannon on this set, I would just say right now, because we're looking at his only thing weak to Electric right now. But I did have Blizzard, and that's the move I'm going to go for in the next turn. And Blizzard would also hit stuff like the Bulu, the Rhyperior. So that's why I decided to pack on Shadow Ball instead, because he also had stuff like the Bruxish, the Blacephalon, and the Chandelure weak to it. But yes, I trace his No Guard. That means Blizzard absolutely will not miss. But before I go for Blizzard, I take a Hurricane and I set up another fun move, Trick Room. And my Porygon-Z was a pretty slow set, so at this point I'm just able to kill off the Pidgeot with a Blizzard. And at that point all he has left is Bruxish against the World, which is the shiny form as I call Merry Fishmas. As Shadow Ball does 3/4 to it as he goes for, I believe, Psychic Fangs, yes he does. That's not going to do a lot, and then since I outslow him in the Trick Room, I'm able to just get off a Shadow Ball, and that ends in a massive 6-0 victory for me. I gotta keep up my trend of getting at least 1 6-0 in each SBL season. But yeah. This was a weird battle, not gonna lie. I mean, the questionable play to me was him keeping his Tapu Bulu in on my Nihilego, which kind of threw me off at the time, but then I realized I could play around that. And seeing as he wasn't like Choice Scarf, he wasn't like a Berry, he wasn't any of those shenanigans. So at that point, it made it kind of easier for me to shuffle around. I mean, I feel like I prepared like very well for this game. Well, obviously, since I got a 6-0. And Golisopod never even saw the field in his debut, so nobody knows what I'm going to run on him in the future. Which I don't even know what I'm going to run in the future. But yeah, this was a game. I really don't know what else to say about this game, to be honest. I'm just gonna move on with this and say next week we're gonna be going off words against one of the newer players in the league next season, our boy Flair. So look forward to that, and I will see you guys next time.